greatest time of it, but this is their chance to make it back. On the other hand, you have snipehunters looking to keep that dream alive a third year in a row. Can the stars align for them? Can they make it through this, or will alignment be able to take them out?
We're going in for the last round of the day. We're going to see a huge start here with the gold sarcophagus. Banish the Dormouse, and Quantal is now just looking at Kinokoko's Malice combo. Oh, Dominus Impulse here is an answer to the Jessica. Is there another extender? Kinokoko is laughing, shaking the head a little bit. Can you pass on this? Is that a possibility? Gold sarcophagus is not the most used starter if you have another
we see on Duel B, there's a quick pass happening as well, and that pass came from Josh. Got ashed on his 1-for-1, and that it's going over to his opponent. And we saw him being so humble, but Arata seems like he is taking control here in this game. And we have a multi-sharpie full, at least resolving from Josh. Yep. He had to pass on an empty field, but at least he gets to do that now. And Arata is a T-Elements player, ladies and gentlemen. That is nice to see. I love this.
You thought you were done seeing Taillaments, but here comes Rhino Heart. Normal summoning Rhino in the face of Quantal feels like an affront to the king of Taillaments, or rather Jesse Cotton's rival for that title. But here is Kit Kolos on top. So many summons under the Fualos, going to give so many cards, but again, happy to do so because the game could very well end before Josh has a chance to use them.
Actually, Duel C is getting kind of crazy right now. That was a pass on a link decoder there against Emra, I think. Oh, wait, there we have it already. No, wait, that is a completely different game right there.
Let's go
back to the match we just had. Let's go back to Duel A here to focus on that one, as we have there. Oh, there, that is Quantal, that is Duel A. Okay, that will work. And we have Quantal probably still being on his Malice deck as well. And then on the other hand, we have his opponent here right now. We have the third team member. We have the good old Kino. Oh, no, wait, that's not Kinokoko. Oh, wait, it is Kinokoko. Of course, he's still comboing. And it is Quantal versus Kinokoko.
You know, I was a little bit confused about all of these link decoders and all of these decks there. But for the moment, you can also enjoy a little peek into the match of Fala Galera there. Because everyone right now is trying to qualify for Day 2, as it is the last round. And we have no team guaranteed so far. No one is undefeated here. All of these duelists are playing on the same level.
At the moment, everything looks good for alignments. Of course, we have Josh taking the lead, rather falling behind after getting the onus on the gameplay by going first. And yet, the Taillaments deck is not done yet. Quantal, on the other hand, trying to intercept with this Bestial Magnamut.
All right. This is a common point where you use a Bestial versus the Malice combo to banish the link decoder. But that is... Wait, did that even happen on a link decoder? We're only seeing Chain Link 1 on the red ransom, which is going to add you something at this point. It is...
Here we go. Enough Taillaments damage to close this one out unless Josh has something. Does he have an answer here? Is there something he can do?
I don't think it is enough, right? It is awfully close, but I think we are going to be left with a couple life points there.
And he has a few cards because of that Fualos, so there's still the opportunity.
Is there Snow? Snow would be the one to make it happen. Maxi, someone...
Oh.
Why are we activating the Maxi here? That is surprising.
Don't ask me.
What are we going to do with the Maxi main phase 2? Josh just want to make sure that before we head into the main phase 2.
Wait. 1,200 life points. That is Lacrima burn range, and I think that Josh just knows about that. Keep some hand trips there for possible Requiem shenanigans, but that is a track from the graveyard fusion summoning, and now you need basically a Skullmeister to negate this, but I think that you're... Oh, we're not even going into the Appaloosa here to possibly block something. SP Little Knight, Lacrima is going to activate the effect in the graveyard to deal 1,200 damage.
And that is that. In the meanwhile, we see more of that direct to life points burn damage coming through in Duel C. Gimmick Puppet making its return to the world stage. We saw it earlier, we've seen it again here.
Ooh, and it is ending the game there, and we have simultaneous burn damage to seal the deal here in those two duels. And that means that we have another gimmick puppet player actually on the roster of Team Alignment. So it's not only a choice that Team Dream's future mate, but also it is here on Alignment's teammate. And that should mean that this is a 2-0 score overall here, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. So far looks pretty good overall. Let's look at Duel A though, as that is still ongoing. Quantal keeping his team in this, hopefully, but so far has yet to have a turn. It's Malice, Malice, Malice for Kino Coco as the team captains face off against each other.
And I mean, we've said it before. Basically, what snipehunters have to do is to sweep this matchup. They kind of have to go 9-0 to be in contention for day 2. So this is already looking super rough, having lost the first 2 rounds. It's even going to get tougher to win this entire matchup here.
Just looking at the faces on the players by comparison, though. Arata's laughing, Goyoku's having a great time. This is a team whose dreams of escaping the group were pretty much over. And yet here they are, for the love of the game, continuing to play this out and continuing to do great things. But it's snipehunters. This game was so important. This match is so important. They need to win it. So you're seeing, there they are, focused, calm, collected.
And we do have the White Rabbit now also gets to banish another one of our strong link monsters, being that White Binder, drawing a card in the process. It's Malice on both sides, but it's a lot happier Malice player on top, being Kino Coco here for Team Alignments, and that should be another link free, and that is Malice Hearts Cryptor.
I mean, we have seen, we're actually passing here. We have seen Quantal a lot so far in those mirror matches especially, and so far it hasn't felt like he's been lucky on the coin tosses in those. So he's being full comboed a lot. Magnamod resolves in the end phase, adds a Bestial Druid's Worm. The field that his opponent is setting up, the Kino Coco field, is not too impressive. It is only a hard cryptor with 1 set card. I don't even think it's GWC that is set. Actually, it might be GWC.
Yeah, I think it is. I think we just set the GWC, so that is still pretty strong. But you look into the face camera of Kino Coco, and he was he happy? He was kind of shaking his head a little bit too, because that is somewhat of a minimalistic field for the Malice deck. Let's face it, sure, it does provide you with a couple of interruptions still, but it's not perfect, I want to say.
Either happy or laughing in disbelief, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah, both could be true.
There's like also follow-up there. Of course, you destroyed the Malice P-March here, but you can banish this one with the Druid's Worm. You have +1 now in the end phase even, so the Druid's Worm can't even be banished in this turn anymore. Now, 4 cards in hand for Quantal. Has another Malice card in hand. We know that because he attempted to use March here.
Yeah. But just look at the face cams of Arata, Kino Coco, and Goyoku. They're just having such a good time laughing together here. It is the most fun tournament of the year. Even though the stakes may be the highest, it's still all about the fun that you have while dueling, and they're just having a good time together as a team. And Quantal is possibly now having a good time normal summoning the most strongest of the Malice monsters.
Yep, that is as good a starter as any. Does Kino Coco have any kind of response here? I see them nodding their head, saying yes, use that.
March here is being activated. Then I think we're trying to set up a little bit more here via something like White Binder, banish White Rabbit from the graveyard, set an MTP. The thing is, if you only end on Crypta with this follow-up, you basically get 2 banishes out of this, right? And 2 banishes would be enough to take care of the Dormouse starter. But we also know that Quantal has a March Hare in hand. So if there is another Malice card in hand, this won't be the end of it. Are you even going to immediately respond to the Malice P Dormouse here with a possible MTP banish and then Crypta banish it again before it can activate the effect?
I think we saw a decent amount of Malice mirror matches throughout this weekend in this tournament where it really felt one-sided, where one of the Malice players, usually the one that went first, was just cruising and dominating. But this one just actually feels like we are going to get into an open conversation here between the 2 Malice players, where Quantal is not really out of the question here just yet, and may be able to just grind his way into this match.
I like the approach that some other teams have taken that have protect their Malice deck for the mirror match, because so far we've seen so many instances of Malice just going crazy in the mirror after winning the coin toss. And then, of course, Malice can play into Malice a fair bit, but you will basically never be able to break a full field and go for the game in that turn, and then you're just going to get OTK'd in the next one. So I think the idea of playing like Meowls or maybe even Lancea in your own Malice deck doesn't even sound too bad to me.
Yeah, I do agree. That seems reasonable. And we see Kinokoko continuously bringing back more and more Malice monster. That Malice in the mirror, though, that we just searched is not going to do anything this turn. The empty PO7, though, that we just set, able to be activated this turn as we have plenty of Malice monsters that we can banish.
Yep, full field of monsters here. Unfortunately, cannot really be used as link material from this point onwards because it is, of course, Quantal's turn still, but can very well be sent with the trap card to further extend. Does Quantal have any kind of response here with his starter now banished?
I love the hopeful views from Emre and Josh going to the center, going to the team captain Quantal, hoping that somehow he's able to pull this one out, to somehow be able to make it happen. But this Cryptor is banishing the Dormouse immediately.
I'm going to call it. Marcha is going to be activated and Impulse is... Oh no, we're actually resolving this immediately. So now the White Rabbit and Kinokoko is just laughing. There's nothing to lose here anymore. Going for the...
He's having the best time ever while actually Quantal gets to play. So what is going on here? And I mean, the speed with the Marcha resolving, with it was resolving, was actually concerning because it felt like there was no response even available, and that's maybe why Kinokoko is laughing. Maybe he toggled off for some reason. That would be a funny one to do here in the World Championship, but we will find out momentarily.
I mean, on the field there is just nothing from him. That's a bunch of monsters, but they don't do anything, especially in the face of an access code talker, which might be happening later. The set card is GWC, as we figured out earlier, and this card, it can be, versus some Fiendsmith shenanigans, can be an interruption to summon out the White Binder to get rid of some problematic cards in the graveyard. If you're banishing your opponent's Malice cards in the graveyard, I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah, I don't think that is going to happen. And I mean, one thing we have to consider, 3,500 life points only for Kinokoko, which means essentially one access code talker, if we can then next to it just clean up the field a little bit in terms of monsters, might be enough to just go for it here. Or we could even just get one big Red Ransom onto the field and then attack over something else, and that may also be the writing on the wall. But we shall see. Kinokoko. You see Kinokoko is really shaking his head, and Goyoko is just laughing with him.
Maybe could have done something a little bit differently there, but I'm not too familiar with the Malice Mirror match enough to say, okay, I'm qualified to advise the world contender on how to play the Malice matchup. That being said, though, Quantal's still in this, still able to play, now running through scenarios with his team, you have to imagine, and now calculating how can he navigate this. It's a formidable field, yes, but a lot of these effects have already resolved. A lot of these options have already been extinguished, and as have some of these life points.
Ooh, that could be Lingoriba, but no, it turns out to be Link Decoder, which is summoning itself into the zone that the Cryptor is pointing to, using the Link arrows wisely and following it up by a Link free. And now it gets interesting because that is the moment where the Bestial Druid's Worm is in the graveyard and will activate here as a chain link free after the Red Ransom and the Link Decoder. What are we trying to go after here? It is the Dormouse, just simply. Okay, monster in defense position. We want to make damage this turn. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3,500 life points left for Kinokoko, so it's easy to win this game if you get a little bit of damage off. 3 monsters. There's GWC. Don't forget about the life points gain of GWC. A nightmare for every chain burn player out there.
Ooh, but there's our very own GWC. And one thing also that Kinokoko will have to remember, Lingoribo can counter the GWC if it's summoned at the right time. So I feel like whenever there's just one Malice monster around, you gotta respect the Lingoribo somehow and maybe just preemptively activate the GWC. We shall find out. We shall see.
I think I can see a line, depending on how much information they have about the deck of Kinokoko, right? But I think there is a line in which you just summon out the Chessy Cat now or Marcher at this spec. That works too, I think.
Yeah.
Even though I think we've already used this one. Yeah, we've used Marcher already, so Chessy Cat is still in the deck, supposedly. I think you can just go for a Dormouse, banish the Chessy Cat now with this, right? And then go into a Linguribo sneakily, having the Chessy Cat on the field, drawing 2 more cards, then having Linguribo plus doing an access code talker.
And now we continue with the Chessy Cat trying to find even more cards. And we are drawing. Quantal is really able to possibly do it here. They are continuing to push. Quantal has to keep his team around here. Quantal is the one, the team captain for the first year. The last 2 years, it basically was Josh who brought this team Snipe Hunters to the world stage, but now it is on Quantal's shoulders to carry. It is on Quantal's shoulders to make it happen, and that's also why this is the last game remaining here in this first set in the very determining round 5 of this round robin.
There is the access code talker with enough attack to punch over anything here, and almost enough to finish the game by itself. Still need something
it's
though.
not GWC.
Okay, that changes things up a little bit. Called by the grave. We cannot prevent the attack gain from the access code talker, but of course we can at least take out one of the attributes from the graveyard so that the distraction is a little less painful.
I mean, I think you have more than enough darks in the graveyard, or we're going for a Linguribo here. What I can see exactly is Linguribo, and then you're linking those two off now for a Splash Mage, because Splash Mage is water.
Yep.
Summon back something, go into a possible White Binder there, and then get ready to destroy some more cards, even though, yes, a very easy way to deal 3,500 damage. You need another extender to go into a Hard Crypta to deal more damage.
That absolutely is true, and we go in Link free. Is that going to be another Malice Link monster? Indeed, White Binder is the one of choice. I mean, when you have a Royal Rare White Binder, you may as well summon it. Oh, now the Access Code Talker.
You have the Dormouse attack boost. You actually deal some damage. If you attack over Red Ransom or the White Binder, you deal 600, and then the Access Code Talker attacks over the other one for enough damage.
It is. You're so right. I think we are just actually in the position where we can end this. This turn, though, taking a very long time. So we shall see whether the in-game timer of Quantal even is able to still carry us through his turn. Another Access Code Talker effect is being used here, banishing the Linguribo.
You know what would be crazy? Just a Nibiru here.
Oh, you're so right. We have not seen a whole lot of Nibiru overall.
Destroying the 2300 is interesting because you could have closed out the game by just attacking had you kept both alive.
Yeah, we're missing out on game here, right? If we don't have another monster to summon here.
We get another trap card though with the White Binder, and I mean that's an easy choice. We just gotta get the MTP, but yeah, the White Binder has not yet returned, right? I don't think it has.
Yeah, we just summoned it so we can just attack over here.
Okay, there we
go. And I think that's an easy way to close out this game. Now, we are in the battle phase, so there is no Nibiru, the Primal Being, coming your way anymore. And Quantal Think will now look out to get this to a 1-2, not giving alignment the chance to go 3-0 here to completely sweep the Snipe Hunters.
And Quantal keeps Snipe Hunters in this tournament, and he keeps Snipe Hunters' dreams alive for one more year.
That is a big brief that all of the fans at home of Team Snipe Hunters and also the team itself is taking. They have managed to not get completely swept there in this first game. Should I give you some very delicate information about the other groups, though?
Oh, please do.
Speaking of getting swept, our world champions have just gotten swept by FCG, meaning they are out of the tournament. Team 7 is no longer in. That is crazy. 6-0, and it was all over.
So we can't get a rematch of the finals there. The story is over. It was a great run of Team 7 so far, but also we have plenty of other matches. This is the hot round. This is where it's going to be decided who is going to advance to day 2. And I think that in the match, Noble Gavagul versus Ragnarok. Ragnarok's actually leading right now.
Between FCG and Alignment, these teams that have struggled so much throughout the day have suddenly decided to show up massively
and that's what's all
in
about.
round 5.
Yes, they kept sharp until the very end, and they now have this even able to beat the very best Maccabees.
Yeah.
They probably like the news of having Team 7 out of the equation, because now Team 7
They probably don't know yet,
and FCG, probably they don't know just yet, that's true. They both cannot make it anymore now, but still there is other teams like Team Brotdose, for example, who could sneak in there as well.
Exactly. When we are in the next round, we're also going to check those out. Again, I love these reminders. You can check those stats out in your Master Duel app as well. You can just check it there under the WCS logo there.
Yeah, it is very cool. But snipehunters, even though Quantal has secured that we're not getting swept in the first set, they're still down. They're still down 1-2, and that means that we are at the very least going to see all 3 sets if snipehunters wants to win. I mean, they could get swept now, and then it's a 5-1 victory, but if snipehunters wins, they will always have to go to the third set to do so.
Also very much contingent on the performance of Ragnarok and Noble Gabig Gol. This group is the one that is so close between all of these teams.
It is very much so. You can't really tell just yet. And we are, of course, ready for more action. Let's see the second set here. It is still Team snipehunters versus Team Alignments. And we need a comeback from Team snipehunters if they want to stay in this year. Let's check it out.
Also, as another update, Dreams Future versus Striper Corp. Right now, 2-2.
Ooh, that's another important match from Group A, as both of these teams are also on that important 2-2 record currently. Oh, and we have a classic pass here. Not like this. Josh shaking his head. Has to completely give up there by just not using a single card. You can tell if you look at the face cam from Josh. He could use the Fumalos, but there even is Ash Blossom and George Spring, and there's the second Fumalos right after. Can this one resolve at least?
This is going to be a Gamma, I'm telling you.
This one resolves. Oh, and we see a Skull Guardian there on Duel B. So we have another edition of Voiceless Voice at the World Championship here, and that is the opponent of Quantal there. So we have that again as the anti-Malice deck, apparently.
And usually if you're playing Malice versus a Voiceless Voice, if you're playing on ladder in a ranked game, you're gonna go, okay, well, I think I can beat this Enfield probably with my Malice deck. It's so powerful. But there's still 2 unknown cards in the hand of your opponent, and in this particular format, there's a high chance that one of those is Lancea, Chaos Hunter, or Imperial Iron.
We are almost at the 8,000 threshold with Ryziel main deck monsters.
Snipehunters so far.
It absolutely is. You're so right, but maybe they can still come back. Goyoku right now, though, enjoying his Ryziel deck. Here comes Ryziel Detonator, and we are more than clearly working towards 8,000 points of damage, getting another material there onto the Ryziel Detonator, and having the node now too. That's all with some quick math. I can count to 35, 49. Oh, we're missing 100. Oh, but look at that. That is the Sakitama there, which is going to make sure that this is a little over 8,000 points of damage. Such an interesting card to play in general.
Yep, should be a clean close out here. Really phenomenally well played here. Honestly, not much Josh could do. Granted, the 2 Fualos were kind of useful, still not enough here. Going first, drawing 2 of those, really, really tragic for the former captain of Team snipehunters, but it's not over yet for them. Quantal, Emre still in the game, even if they are going second. Emre definitely has a way of playing it going second if he's brought that 10 Pi Dragon Sky Striker deck.
I mean, Ryziel is not too shabby either there. Oh, we're going to see a Quantal called by the grave on to the Maxi, chaining his own Maxi. Very, very strong here. Of course, Voiceless Voice can also summon in the opposing turn, forcing out the Dynamondo immediately there. So for Quantal, very interesting what's going on there. Emre, if he's playing Ryziel, oh, look at this. There's like a good field on the opposing side, and Emre even used a hand trap there, so didn't help him at all. It's the strongest games of Malice is when your opponent actually uses hand traps versus you, and they are just not effective versus you.
Continuing to just replenish the hand as well. The field is good, the hand is good. Everything looks good for Kinokoko right now, but Emre, we've seen the Tenpai Dragon Sky Striker build be able to make a comeback before. Can we see it again? It's now Quantleston. He's playing the Atlantean
okay.
Mermail that qualified him for the World Championship. Can he do something with it this time around? This deck has not been successful so far today, but this could be the chance. This could be the game we need to see it. It's the clutch factor of bringing it out in the deciding, such a valuable win for snipehunters.
It is, of course, also clearly a decision to play around the anti-malice deck of his opponent. He was correctly anticipating that there would be an anti-malice deck waiting on the opposing side, waiting in the lineup of Arata there, and that is the case, but Mermail not so affected by that.
Yeah, but Abyss Ryan is now discarding the Shadow Squad, and Abyss Ryan is going to get negated anyways, but still, that's what you want to have, right? There is a Neptubus. Neptubus will immediately be popped here by the trap card of the Voiceless Voice
Radiance of the Voiceless
It
Voice
is Radiance of the Voiceless Voice, and that is going to make an abrupt end to the approaching Mermail combo as it is gone there. But Quantle has another prince! Is Quantle the prince of the ocean? Is he the Atlantean prince that can still keep this going? Looks like there is no further interruption from Arata.
We know he Ministreled. He Ministreled earlier. He knows there is not even a Soravis in hand. I don't think that is any sort of interruption there. And if you've ever seen a Mermail deck uninterrupted, you know that it can win games.
And last year, we saw Quantle lose to a comeback from Maguro off of one single card. This time, it's one single Neptubus standing against the Voiceless Voice field, and yet it is that Neptubus that's now resolving, that's now making things happen for snipehunters.
Not so quick though. When we know what is the last card in hand? Is it the ritual monster which we could possibly ritual summon out on the opponent's turn due to blessings? Or it's not a ritual monster?
We banished the Soravis from hand.
That's great. Okay, so we should be somewhat safe. We cannot target the Skull Guardian right now, but now that we give back the continuous spell there to the hand, it is much easier because now targeting is again allowed.
Yes, you can get rid of the low, the prayers of the Voiceless Voice, and eventually also the Skull Guardian will follow. Skull Guardian used the negation for the turn, so significantly less useful, but also once you deal with that, you can then swing for game and just continue to explode this in your favor. Quantle clutching it out for snipehunters here, continuing with the combos. Atlantean Mermail wasn't good so far today, but now is the time to shine.
Shadow Squad going up to level 7. We're setting up big Exceeds plays here with Poseidra or the big Neptubus. Discarding Dragoons for it is per cost, so you're going to add another Sea Serpent. We have had one Prince, we've had two Prince. Might as well that one out. Are we going to see a big Neptubus here?
Of course, we're going to go for Poseidra, I would assume. And there we have it. Poseidra Abyss, the Atlantean Dragon Lord, is of course the extra deck variant of Poseidra. We saw the main deck one coming with a special summon from the hand, but now we upgrade our Exceed monster into this Poseidra.
Solid win ratio when it's been seen, of course, does suggest that this is one of the finishing pieces of the deck, and as long as the deck is allowed to get to this stage of the combo, it's basically accomplished its job. Doing fantastically well to keep Quantle in this duel, doing fantastically well to keep snipehunters in this tournament. Bounces back 2 cards to the hand, clears the field, and gets ready to unleash this Atlantean Mermail.
Yep, and now a Meowth is being dropped after the entire field is gone there. That was the last card in hand, Molchami Meowth, that you can, of course, leave there. That is absolutely massive information here. We have the Soravis now from the deck, but the Max C that was activated earlier in the turn, chained to the own called by to a Max C, draws another card now, so Quantle can continue to play. We're going to link those two monsters off. The Soravis is of course an interruption itself. By bouncing itself back to the hand, you can get rid of a special summoned monster, as far as I'm aware.
The Marincess Coral Anemone now just going to extend further for Quantle. It's still looking pretty good for him here on that Mermail Atlantean deck.
You could negate the summon though, because that is what Soravis does. You can negate the summon of a monster, and that is what we're going to do. And I gotta agree, that Coral Anemone would have led to quite a bit. Still, though, the effect of Poseidra in the graveyard, as it was linked off, can be activated, and surely we do. And we may not have the Coral Anemone anymore, but guess what? The water is still flowing. Mermaids are still going strong, and we're not only going to summon back 1, but 2. And not only 2, I think we're going to summon back a full total of 3 monsters here.
Gonna give over a few cards to the Meows, but that is okay. There we go. Deep Sea Minstrel going to resolve as well. It just continues to go, go, go. The Atlantean Mermaid deck does not stop here. Quantal does not stop here. Snipe Hunters Tournament does not stop here as long as he can close this one out.
He is definitely trying, and also still on Duel C. Emra also very much trying, showing his Ryziel deck, Malice deck of Kino Coco, but Kino Coco still, of course, a very accomplished Malice duelist. He may have lost on the first set there against Quantal, but we see again he has a massive field brewing there on Duel Table C.
Yep, Malice is such a dominant strategy here in this tournament, in this meta game. If not every deck can play Artifact Lancia, Malice just becomes such a powerhouse. Now the decisive Worm is going to negate the plugin. Emra has already committed to the Ice Ryziel, but what else is he going to do? There are so many cards on the side of his opponent. Passes the turn, and I think we should go back to Duel A. We're so close to see.
Riding on Quantal here. Needs to win this to even keep Snipe Hunters in it. It looks good. There is the Synchro Summon. Looking into the extra deck for an option here. It's a 4 and a 3. It's a 7, and it is the Deep Sea Prima Donna.
And that will be answered with Artifact Lancia. We said that this Voices Voice deck is an anti-Malice strategy, so it only makes sense that there is a Lancia, which we now drew into with the Mulchami Meowths. And that is actually not too bad against the Prima Donna. Actually, it works pretty well against it even. There.
Is that not just game?
That
no,
is 8100.
8100, okay, some quick math. So maybe we're heading into the battle phase. Is that what we're looking at?
That might be 7100 actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is
it's
not
a little
8100.
short. Ay, back to school for you, Ibris. Doing math classes again, but I'm sure Quantal is good on his own math.
White Aura Monoceros now coming out here. 2500 attack points on that. 52 plus 16 is 68.
Still not just enough, but we can, of course, continue to bring back more monsters from the graveyard, but that will also be leading to more cards being drawn off of that. Mulchami Meowths. Okay, we're getting really,
what are
close.
you realistically drawing into here? If this is your anti-Malice deck, I don't think you have Nibiru, the Primal Being, in your hand. Maximum a Chaos Hunter can be summoned here, I think. I don't think there are any other really impactful hand traps that you're running here.
To be fair, though, the Chaos Hunter could at least buy you a turn, right?
One more summon, one more Synchro Summon here. Level 6 this time. It's going to be the Coral Dragon making an appearance.
That is still not 8,000 damage. Oh, that is 8,000 damage.
It is, with the boost that is applying there. It actually is, and we see Quantal not only in the first set, but also here in the second set, keeping the hopes alive for Team Sniper Hunters and all the fans of Team Snipe Hunters, as well as he at least got that win in there, bringing us to a 2 and 4 score overall.
Alignment's doing phenomenally well to push Snipe Hunters to the limit there, but it is their team captain that keeps them in this one. Need 3 victories convincingly in this last set.
And I want to say the group is just getting closer and closer because the dominant force, Noble Gabigol, they just got 8-1 swept by Ragnarok. That was such a 5-1 sweet victory from Ragnarok there. In the second set, every one of the Ragnarok players won, so the field is just so much more wide open right now. This is looking dangerous for Noble Gabigol.
It does look very dangerous because now they have that big deficit lose actually coming from Team Ragnarok, so I think that definitely opens the door a little bit for Team Snipe Hunters if they are finally able to
Don't forget about, you know, our other teams, Dreams Future or Kaiba Shorp.
Yeah, they're also still out there. True.
Kaiba Shorp is also very good.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in that match, they're also still just absolutely trying to make sure to qualify. And between them, it is currently 3-3, also still very competitive out there.
That is very, very scary for all of these teams, but also very exciting that so many of them are in contention. But Alignment can't make it out regardless, but will do their best to go down swinging. Very, very powerful showing from them so far.
They're crushing it.
I'm curious to see if Josh continues to commit to this anti-meta strategy, this anti-malice strategy, this strategy of passing the first turn after winning the
That's a great strategy. I'm sure he's happy to commit to that play once more.
We've seen him clutch it out before. We know he can do it. He's super talented. Let's see if
Surely he
indeed
is,
he can
but
lead Snipe Hunters to another
sometimes a
victory.
little bit of luck is also required, and that luck was really not with him here in the first 2 sets.
Emre losing every coin flip as well is a little bit sad,
That
so
doesn't
I'm,
help,
I'm
no.
really hopeful that he can make a comeback here as well.
Also, how much luck is going to help you against tiebreakers, because this is going to be a very difficult scenario. They're not going in with the best win-to-loss ratio already in this last round, trying to go 3-2 desperately in matches. But there's, of course, also 2 other teams that are 2-2 right now, which is Chiba Corp versus Dreams Future, are still duking it out on another table. But let's see. Duel B, Duel C, Duel A loading here in the last round of the WCS in Paris.
Sit down, everyone. It's game time once more, and it was another coin toss lost here for Team Snipe Hunters. Josh not able to go first, but hopefully he drew his full house again, and there's a set free
Okay,
there.
nice.
That's possible, maybe.
That looks promising, unless it's Labyrinth or Dynamorphia. Probably the former
Oh
one, the
no, we
latter,
know
but that
summon
does
full
not
house
look
again.
good.
You
But
gotta be kidding me.
we have some options here. The Goblin Biker does suggest that it could very well be the Memento deck
Yes.
that Josh is piloting. And here we go. Quantal starting first on the Malice as well. Emre starting first.
Very sensible, yes. I think if your
Solid
opponent
judgment.
normal summons Mulchami Fuwalos to go for a Goblin Biker Grand Breakout, then you will Solemn Judgment that card. And I think that is going to result in a pass from Josh here. Sets one more
Yes.
card and gives it away to his opponent. How's it looking on the other tables?
Looking pretty good for Snipe Hunters so
Yeah.
far. Of course, Emre getting to go first with the Ryzeal has not been disrupted, able to set up accordingly. Malice, the same situation here. And it is
It
Labyrinth,
is Labyrinth.
but there is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And suddenly, this doesn't look too scary for Josh because the Labyrinth won't finish the game next turn.
Yep, depends also on the last card. If that is a big welcome Labyrinth, of course. This is, oh wow, okay,
okay.
never mind me. That is the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle.
That ain't bad. And imagine the last card now next to this is the big welcome
Or
Labyrinth.
Trap Trick.
Okay, oh yeah, but we do give it over. Only 4,000 life points remaining for Kinokako, but now with the Lady Labyrinth on the field. And we shall see whether there's more to it. Have we drawn additional trap cards? We just go into the battle phase. Fair enough. 3,000 attack points is plenty of damage to put onto the life points of Josh here. So life points wise, we're almost even again.
Yep, wondering if this was another hand disruption draw. No, it's another thing to set
Okay,
in the back.
interesting.
Perhaps we will see the big welcome on the next turn, but Josh has at least one more turn here. Can he use it to get things going? Because his team seem to be doing well for themselves. Can the former captain...
Oh, Heavy Storm Duster! And that is basically a throwback because Josh
Yes.
played Labyrinth at the World Championship 1 year ago and also used that Heavy Storm Duster, and now Kinokako is the one reminding him of that by using it
wow.
here against the 2 sad cards.
And now you can set the big welcome and force for the next turn. But there is
hold
Droplet.
on, okay.
Sending the Mammoth Fusion. This is a card that you might want to have in your graveyard right there. I assume the other card is also... No, this shouldn't be a Droplet. Which other card? I think he drew Droplet for turn, so there might not be another play. Unless you have another Mulchami that you can normal summon and then activate the Fusion. But how does that help you?
It was a grand breakout that was destroyed there, but maybe we just drew one of our powerful starters. Maybe a Dark Blade, maybe an Anguage.
But would we not set the Droplet if we had it in hand already? I think the Forbidden Droplet might have been the top deck there.
You're right, I do agree on that. It is now Josh thinking what to do with that one card in hand, and he has to use it
Fusion.
defensively, but okay, hold on, true, it's not even necessarily defensively, as the Fusion enables us plays here, it
Oh
was
my
a
goodness,
Maxi.
it's Maxi. This is absolutely crazy. What are we even searching a Bone Party for next turn? You just need to find something to play with. Josh is setting up the next turn. The lady is again at 3,000 attack points. You just almost basically need anything on the other side there. This is crazy. We're going into the battle phase. 3,000 damage
Okay.
again. Josh
Not
is
over yet.
going to get
We're
another
getting
top
another
deck
turn.
here.
But is he going to get Solemn Judgmented again is the question. Is there
Very
any...
high chance.
Yeah, true.
We will find it. I mean, the Bone Party on its own doesn't even do anything. We will need a Memento monster next to it, and that is required as a draw for turn. Josh, is there a play? can you keep it competitive? We go into the battle phase. Hold on. Is this maybe an evenly matched
But
angle?
how does this help in this situation? Because his opponent knows exactly every single card there. If this is an evenly matched, you just say okay. Oh, Josh is smiling, setting a monster there, possibly trying to force out some interaction with a bluffed, evenly matched there. Sets the monster. No Bone Party. This is another Ash Blossom, or is it a Fuwalos? It is something for sure, but it's not helping at this point. Josh is just patiently waiting, and I think in the end phase we're still considering to do something. How's it looking on the other tables?
It looks like the Max C there from Emerald was just mad with Ash Blossom, but the field from Emerald on Duel A is already
Everything
pretty
looks
decent.
quite good in A and
so
C,
it is
to be
all right.
honest.
I think we are okay with that Max C not resolving. It's always a good feeling to resolve Max C on top of a combo, but it's not necessarily required to win the game.
I mean, also you have Ryziel Cross, right? If your Max C gets Ash Blossom, I think you use the Cross, no?
I agree, yeah. Should be. And let me tell you something, while Snipe Hunters are really fighting to stay in this, between Dreams Future and Shiba Corp on one of the other matches in Group A, it comes down to the very last match.
Yep.
They are on a 4-4 even score at the moment there. There it is. And absolute madness.
I think that is the correct way to end this game, possibly. Activating Daruma Karma Cannon. Only having one monster yourself, knowing your opponent cannot chain anything to it, setting up the big welcome Labyrinth. You only need to deal 2,000 damage. Just flip up that Lady Labyrinth, go into the battle phase, and if this is not something completely out of pocket, like a Penguin Soldier, then you should have the game here.
Penguin Soldier would be iconic. I'm sort of doubting it though. We do go for the big welcome Labyrinth, and we are basically going into the final motions here. Kino Coco knows he got this. He made a good call here with bringing the Labyrinth deck for the very last game as well. And that could be their way of closing it all out here in this one. And we just talked a little bit about the match between Dreams Future and also, of course, Shiba Corp. Looking at it, it seems like Enzo is right now in the process of closing it out for Shiba Corp. So we actually may not only lose Team 7, and we're in the process of losing Team Snipe Hunters here as well, but we could also just be losing Dreams Future on top of that.
An all-new top 4 potentially here this year at the Master Duel World Championship 2025, the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship, rather. A whole weekend of Yu-Gi-Oh! Action. This is the Master Duel group stage, the final round of it, deciding who will advance.
It does look like that. Okay, we have the final blow, and therefore that is the end of Team Snipe Hunters tournament run. They are on a 2-3 record, respectable, but not good enough to qualify to the second day, to the final day.
And before we go into the post-analysis of this match, I want to say that if Shiba Corp wins 5-4, and my math is not completely incorrect, we're going to the next tiebreaker between the Noble Gabigol versus Shiba Corp, because they have the exact same tie when it comes to wins. Let me count. 8 plus 4 are 12, 17, 18, 23. Okay, and now for Shiba Corp, saying this might be 5 in this win.
It is. They
5,
just
18.
won. Let me tell you, they just won.
13, 17, 22, 23.
I thought we established to not give me math questions.
Yeah, I was done
That's why
after you
I
started.
did it.
Yeah,
That's why I did it. So this is going to the next tiebreaker there. That's crazy.
It actually is complete intensity, and you might be right, Leo. I think Shiba Corp might, in the end, be able to clinch this one out.
Oh
and
my
after
goodness.
just not starting so well, they could be pulling through here for the North American region.
I mean, we have it in the client right now. Noble Gabigol is not making it into day 2 after this dream start. This crushing loss against Ragnarok kicked them out of the tournament. The Noble Knight heroes have not made it in Shiba Corp. We've only seen them on stream once in the first round, basically. Might have been the second round.
It was the second round where they
Second round versus
impressively enough
Snipe
won 8-1 against Team Snipe Hunters. Yeah.
Yeah, that was... Oh, did they not lose against Snipe Hunters?
No,
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
well then,
Future lost
good
to
for
Snipe
them.
Hunters. Yeah.
Great stuff. But they are definitely now the second team in Group A. So we have Ragnarok and Shiba Corp. Crazy. Wow.
In the meanwhile, Group B still very much anyone's game. We haven't decided who will advance quite yet.
But Fala Galera is making good point for themselves as they're currently in that match between them and Team Yugati in a 4-1 lead. And they're already in first place in the group, meaning it looks really likely that they're about to be entering top 4. So we said it's an all-new top 4. But Judeo, who was in top 4 2 years ago, might be returning to that very glorious second day of the World Championship.
Yeah,
here.
and despite losing that opening round, they were able to bounce back again. Every round is a new set of games. You cannot tilt. They did not tilt.
Oh, no.
And instead, they've let the momentum of their victory carry them through. Now, actually, we do have Fala Galera just closing that one out against Mugati.
It is confirmed, therefore, Fala Galera joins the teams in top 4. And, I mean, they are in first place, meaning they will be facing Chiba Corp in the top 4 match tomorrow in the semifinals.
And random fun fact, both of those teams have lost the first round of the tournament. So you don't actually get an indication who is going to make it to day 2 if you're just looking at the first round saying, okay, you know, Chiba Corp went 1-8 in the first round. Surely they won't recover from this. They will.
Soul Form versus Brotdosa may very well have implications as to who will advance, though.
True, hold on. They can also still make it to a 3-2 record. I mean, the first place for Fala Galera is sure, because there is no other team that is going to finish.
That's so dominant. 8-1, 8-1, 8-1. Really well played by Judeo, Gnet, and Paolo PRRJ, but Soul Form versus Brotdosa could still very well affect whether Mugati or Brotdosa are the ones to advance alongside them.
And after the second set between those two teams, I can tell you Brotdosa are currently doing their very best to make sure to be the team in top 4 as they're up 4-2, and they only need one more game to be taken to their side to possibly go into that desired top 4. But of course, we just had a very entertaining match to watch between Team Snipehunters and Team Alignments. And as Team Alignments was the team that came out on top, why don't we hear it in the analysis corner from the team captain of Team Alignments?
All right, we're here right after that heartbreaking last round there for Team Snipehunters. It was close there. They needed to not only just win, they really needed to dominate that round, and it was brutal from the beginning there.
Definitely. That was, I guess, not the fairy tale ending we were after. Like, what we heard was, like, first Team 7 fell, and then Snipehunters needed, like, a lot of stars to align. What an
ironic word.
Yeah, from my understanding of the math, they needed to clean sweep that, and they had a bit of a rough start, but Quantal was fighting like the whole time, keeping the dream alive. But as we could see, the hands just weren't working for Josh in any of the 3 games he played.
Right. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and bring up our first clip, where it's just going to be how Josh's first game started. Like, really, all 3 games the hands weren't great. You can see here he went first and passed, and just really wasn't able to get anything going. But playing against an unexpected deck in Tier Elements.
I think one of his points of interaction was also stopped by an Ash Blossom. I think one of the, I wasn't sure if this game was the second game, but yeah, it was also a bit of a frustrating experience.
Yeah, and how this one ends is like he's a little bit short on the damage, but has that Fiendsmith's Lacrima to clean up there at the end. It was a brutal start from the beginning for Josh and all of Team Snipehunters. But, there was one, saving grace for that first set, and that was Quantal. And if we go and move to our second clip that we have, it's going to be Quantal, trying to survive for his team. And he went second in the Mouse Mirror match, which is pretty usually favored for the player who goes first, right?
He definitely capitalized on that life point differential with his opponent only having 3,500 at the start of the turn. So his game plan wasn't necessarily to fight back and create his own body. He was just like, I'm just going to close this game out cleanly as much as I can. 3,500 is very achievable.
And they really needed this win to be like in contention, because going down 0-3 from the first set, really tough to come back from. And Quantal held it down, trying to get that Cinderella story, keeping that opportunity alive to make the top 2. And then if we move on to our third clip, it's actually just the same kind of story. The 2 quick losses for Emery and Josh, because Josh once again went first, had to pass, pass. Emery lost the die roll. And then Quantal had the Neptibus, which his first Neptibus gets stopped, but then he has a second Neptibus. We're about to see the first one going to the graveyard, and then the second Neptibus. This was an epic moment.
Definitely. Quantal just like navigating the deck so well. It was the deck that he qualified for Worlds with, so he definitely showed us like why he deserved a spot here, and he played through this Voiceless Voice, a deck that I think wasn't one that was on people's radars mostly.
Yeah, definitely. And like the targeting protection stuff, not like the worst matchup against Mermail as well. And usually you don't have multiple ways to access Neptibus as a Mermail player, but you know, Quantal did what he did, had the team on his back trying, because he lost that game, it was over. 5-0 or 5 wins for the other team would have ended up making them advance right there. So pushing things to a set 3 and giving them that opportunity to maybe hope on tiebreakers. But let's go ahead and go to the clip number 4. And once again, it's going to be Josh with not a good hand, having to normal summon the Fualos, send it for the breakout. And if this resolves, you know, he's not in bad shape, but unfortunately he's playing against the Labyrinth deck, and you know what happens next.
Yes, Labyrinth deck is a really, it's a high risk, it plays a lot of high risk cards. It's got Solemn Judgment, a card which is fantastic going first, not so great going second, but you might see later in this, there was a Heavy Storm Duster as well, which is also a card which is like terrific going first, and like if you see it going second, especially against a lot of decks which don't play a lot of like spells or traps, it's like a bit rough to have. And it looks like for alignment, the stars were just aligned for them in this match. Unfortunately, they don't have enough points themselves to make it into the next round of the tournament.
But you got to respect the integrity. You're at the World Championship. You got to give it your all, even if you're not going to have that opportunity to make top 4. Like you don't get to come to the World Championship every day. You want to leave it all on the line and do the best that you possibly can.
Absolutely.
And then we do have one more clip of how the Team Alignments was able to finish things up here. Josh just setting max C every turn, not having anything going. Labyrinth not the fastest at putting damage on the field, but you know, if Lady stays on the field long enough, you're going to be able to set those trap cards. The big welcome Labyrinth is going to clean things up, getting Lovely from the deck and being able to destroy the max C. Josh with only the 2,000 life points remaining is going to be able to finish up the duel, and Alignments is going to take down Team Snipehunters.
Yeah, and you can see the writings on the wards on their faces. They're
so sad.
Yeah,
I feel it's okay. You're still amazing. I promise.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the drive for them to redeem themselves, to show that they are capable of making it back to the single elimination rounds is going to be there. I'm more than certain they're going to try harder than ever next year to find their way back.
Yeah, there's always another tournament, more duels to be played. Never get too discouraged. Losses, they sting when they happen, but time heals all wounds. There's going to be another World Championship next year. But you know what's exciting about this Master Duel World Championship is we're going to have the 2 teams that we've been seeing in the past 2 finals. They're not going to be there.
Yeah. And look, we've got pretty impressive Team Ragnarok, who, even though they lost round 1, they were able to like fight their way back to come first. Chiba Corp, who was on the edge throughout the tournament, they managed to claw their way in as well.
Wow, so this is final. These are the final teams. The top 2 teams are going to be Ragnarok and Chiba Corp coming out of Group 1. And then over here in Group 2, Fala Galera made it in first place after we saw them lose round number 1. They locked in and said, we're not going to lose again.
Yep, so that's decisively. Look at the 3 sweeps they had. And then we've got Mugity. Do you want to speak more about them?
Mugity, yeah, so the last matchup in this round was Falaglara against Mugity, and the winner of this was going to lock in and guarantee their spot, but Falaglara took it down. But looks like their tiebreakers just weren't quite good enough, and the Bratos team was able to actually sneak in here at second place. So it's going to be Falaglara, Bratos up against Ragnarok and Chiba Corp, it's looking like.
Yeah, and like we said, it's a clean top 4. I mean, people love a story where that they see the 3rd installment of the Snipehunters versus Team 7, but I think it's an equally compelling story to see four fresh teams up there.
This could be the beginning of a new rivalry. Exactly. Maybe these teams are going to be back next year to compete and have a new best of 3 to find out who's going to be the world champion. But we're going to find out tomorrow who's going to be the Master Duel World Champions, and also the TCG World Championship starts tomorrow as well, along with the conclusion of Speed Duel and Rush Duel for Duel Links. This is just the beginning of the 2025 World Championship. It's been an amazing day, a heartbreaking day, an emotional day for all these players, but we're going to find out who all the world champions are going to be this weekend.
Definitely. That's just the prologue. The story's only starting now.
Yep. Can't wait to see how it's going to conclude. So I'll go ahead and send it back to our casters.
very much, Billy and Yahweh. Very, very grateful to hear from you there. Really good insight and great recap of the results of the day. But let's go through those results here because, as you mentioned, we had 4 teams advance to the semi-finals. Of course, coming out of Group A, we did have Ragnarok in first, Chiba Corp in second, and then in Group B, we had Fala Galera in first and Brotdos in second, which goes to tell me that perhaps we may very well see a Ragnarok versus Brotdos semi-final, and therefore guarantee a European team in the final.
That is true, and also additionally to that, we have a North American team and a Latin American team joining, so that is going to be our top 4, which then will fully be displayed, of course, tomorrow in our live stream, where we are playing out those finals, or first semi-finals and then the finals on the big stage. And that is going to be absolutely entertaining and something you all, and I am very much also looking forward to, because that is where champions are crowned. And yes, we are crowning new champions. Both of the teams that have been world champions so far, the world champion from 2 years ago, snipehunters, and the reigning world champions with Team 7 have been eliminated. Time for new names, time to make some new history here in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and that is going to be one of those 4 teams.
I think 90% of people's cheer for your champion campaign predictions have been annihilated between Dreams Future, snipehunters, and Team 7 losing here.
I will only tell you after the finals what my prediction was. Let's see how that one is turning out.
Maybe mine is still in as well. Those were absolutely phenomenal results. And as you said, Basti, maybe it is time for new champions here. And also, you were right about one other thing. It was definitely, it's so worth to watch it tomorrow, because we have been at the stage already. We have looked at it. It's going to be absolutely breathtaking. Little tear rolled on my eye, I will say, as I have seen this. So I am absolutely excited. It's also been an honor for me and for us to commentate this first day of the Yu-Gi-Oh! WCS 2025 here in Paris for you at home.
Very much so. Very emotional for us, but can't be compared to the emotion being felt by the players, of course. So many emotions just going around right now, of course. Heartbreak for some, celebrations for others, surprise probably for quite a few of them as well. But in the end, these are the best Master Duel players in the world. They played their best, they did their best, but the tournament has only just begun for 4 of these teams. They will aim for that first place here in Paris. They will aim to make it.
Yep, definitely. And there are still so many big names in there. Chiba Corp, Ragnarok, Fala Galera, and Brotdose are still in
His pronunciation
the running.
is on point compared to us, just
of
gonna say.
course, he's a true Brazilian. Didn't you know?
I thought you meant Brotdose, but yeah. Fala Galera means what up in Portuguese, I think. So
what's up?
Very, very cool. What's up? All right, okay.
What's
so
up, guys? I think
absolute
translation
vibes here. We've been saying they're here for the vibes, but they are here for absolute destruction with the 4-1 sweep through the group almost. Such a dominant display of skills.
So we have semi-finals awaiting all 4 of these teams, but we have something else for you at home. We have a code that you can redeem within the Master Duel client. Why don't we bring that up now? So, by going to the home sub-menu, then to the code entry page, then to this campaign, you can enter that code to redeem a legacy pack with a Royal Finish SR+. I tried to do it for Leo on the tablet, but his menu was in German. Either way, it's going to be great for you.
But you typed in the wrong code, I saw it.
Okay.
That was the mistake.
I was going by memory, to be fair. In any case, hopefully you get something good. I'd hope for an Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. I'm sure Gianfranco H would too.
For sure. I mean, I hope Gianfranco recovers. And also, in total, the team of Noble Gabigol, they were cruising with that Frio start. Still, absolutely amazing performance for them with their first World Championship appearance. But in the end, they just fell a little bit short, and they had to give up that second place to Team Chiba.
But they are the winners of our hearts now, right? We have. I want to give them a big hug after this, because this was so close. What a strong start in this supposed super group full of powerhouses of
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they just went through it 3-0, and then in the end came Ragnarok. And if they just went 2-7, they would have been fine, right?
As it turns out,
3-6.
2 super groups. We had
Yeah.
2 really stacked lineups of teams. And just to go through all of the teams that were competing here today, we had Team 7, we had Dreams, Future, Noble, Gabigol, Ragnarok, Brot Dosa, Snipe Hunters, Chiba Corp, Fala Galera, Alignments, FCG, Soulform, and Mugati.
Yeah, and out of 12, we only make 4 tomorrow when we come back. First starting with the first semifinals, followed by the other one, and obviously only being left after these 2 with 2 remaining teams who are going to be playing in that big final. So that is what you should be prepared for tomorrow at home, because you need to tune in to catch who is going to become the new and first time Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel World Champion.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel here at the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2025 in Paris. I'm Ibriz, joined by Sebastian, joined by Leonard. It
Yes,
was
and
a
I
great
think
day of games.
absolutely those were phenomenal. We started off strong and we ended super strong as well. It was an absolute pleasure for me, for you, for us. It was an amazing day of dueling. Make sure you're not going to miss any of the action. Go into the client, check out the duels that have been played already. Go learn something from the best players on the planet. And more importantly, watch them tomorrow on the big stage. Thank you so much, and we're going to see you tomorrow.